wavy beard.
90s to a T.
I said champagne. I will call it champagne.
Oh, no, we got so many good episodes to watch.
Oh, wait, I'm getting it. Nope, changed my mind. Boo.
This is funny until you have it.
No, but seriously, wave after wave of men.
In the future, there's an owl problem.
Sorry, but like, his name's Huge Ass.
Not
So do you listen to our podcast?
I'm sorry. Blue whales on the moon.
We carry a harpoon. God damn, I hate that we said that.
Shut up and take my podcast.
Monotone introductions are the best introductions.
Yes, that is correct.
Welcome, everybody, to Shut Up. There's a real serene start to this podcast at the moment.
Smooth.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome to the Jazz Hour. The pool game went long at the Jazz Club.
And unsubscribe.
Well, thanks for listening.
Welcome, everybody, to Shut Up and Take My Podcast, that Futurama podcast that would really benefit from a banjo jingle.
It would, actually. Yeah.
So if you play a banjo, or can learn to play a banjo...
Anyone can truly learn to play banjo. And we could all learn to play the banjo.
We're not going
But
to.
we're not going to.
No, we won't.
We'll hire someone.
Yeah.
I am joined here by Phil,
Hang on, I need to take my medication disc.
by James,
Hello from me to ye.
by Josh,
Inside all of us is the beating heart of a human.
And Sean.
Nurse Ratched is the creepiest Futurama character yet.
She is.
Oh
She's
my
so scary.
God.
Oh, man. This is so
I love that they just don't need to parody her at all. They just wholesale borrow her from One
all
Flew
they
Over.
did was change one letter.
Yeah, that's
From Nurse
it.
Ratched into Ratchet.
Jet.
And it's like, that's it. Perfect.
And she is just gonna haunt me.
So calm, so serene,
And then
so...
Shoots a straight jacket.
chest, and then like the arm, like... It's like,
I love he's like fetal, like when he's being carried along.
Slide, like a dog, but in reverse.
Yeah.
He's fit into smaller spaces.
Yes, true. If
Yeah.
independent.
We are doing season 3, episode 11, Insane in the Mainframe. No points for what this is from, but what is it from?
Insane in the membrane.
By...
T-Pain?
Really?
Oh my god, dun, 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 dun. Oh my god.
So he's going for the Simpsons reference here. James going for the Simpsons reference.
Fuck. I love that guy.
So
Oh my god.
it's not the Smashing Pumpkins, but they toured with the Smashing Pumpkins in the...
Cypress Hill.
There
I'm looking
you
at
go.
you. Yeah, that.
And for the extra 5 points, what year was it released?
1993.
Bingo for Josh.
nicely
I
done.
am retiring.
And our audience thanks you for leaning away from the microphone.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, whenever I yell, I always get away.
The director is Peter Avancino, who's back from Parasite's Lost.
Yes.
All right. So in 2006, when An Inconvenient Truth was brought out, they did a trailer. So remember, this is after Futurama's off the air. They do a trailer for that film, which has Al Gore animated with Bender.
Oh, wow.
And they talk about the film, and this was directed by Peter Avancino. It's just Al Gore saying, we're gonna, this is the message, this is really important. Bender goes, ha ha ha, who cares? If the humans die, more beer for me. And Al Gore's like, no, this is serious. And it kind of undercuts his message.
Yeah.
But is
he's
also
trying
just...
to appeal to the kids.
Yeah, and it's a very...
After Futurama's been off the air.
and it's kind of a shoddy animated version of the two of them.
Okay,
but it's done by Rough Draft as well, so it's really weird.
Spending much time on it, I guess.
I guess
Can you
because
look
it
that
would
up?
stand out. If something like that happened, good or bad, you remember it. So it would.
Yeah.
And if you don't, Pepperidge Farm does.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Writer is brother of Saul, once again, Bill Odenkirk.
Oh, lovely.
He wrote, so there was a sketch show back in the 90s, no, 90s or noughties, I forget, either way, called Mr. Show.
I thought you were going to say the Mr. Show.
Oh, so you know Mr. Show?
I know of the Mr. Show.
You know of Mr. Show?
Yes.
Good? Yeah. Good?
Keep asking, and his opinion keeps lowering.
It's like,
Mr. Show with Bob and David. So it's Bob Odenkirk and David Cross, who's from Arrested Development and a few other things. The twist that they put on it was that it was a sketch show where all the sketches were in some way connected, even if strangely they were all, even including the opening monologue. So everything was connected in some way, and Bill was one of the writers for this. So good on them. Air date April 8th, 2001. Introducing one of my favorite recurring characters in Roberto.
yes.
And Exploding Eddie.
And explode.
It's not introduction.
return.
No, but he's a return.
He's a return.
So
He's a return.
He's a great return.
And the
Not
Spanish.
malfunctioning Eddie. Thank you very much.
And Roberto hasn't been in it yet?
Nope, this is his debut, and he crops up many a time.
What do you think his original function was meant to be?
Tombstone.
Tombstone.
Have you looked at his body?
Yeah.
It looks like a tombstone.
I think like traffic warden. I think like
his eyes,
yeah,
like-
one like red and green. I think butcher.
Binoculars?
Oh yeah, yeah.
For an opera?
He was built for robbing banks and stabbing people.
Built for violence.
Yeah.
He just gravitates to that one bank.
Yeah,
Like if Mom builds all these robots, surely she builds plenty for evil.
yeah.
Yes.
Like,
There has to be
I
a
can
couple.
guarantee it.
I think it's like a malfunction if they're built for good.
Yeah, it is Mom after all. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we call Eddie when he's not malfunctioning? Eddie, just Eddie.
Oh, he's still malfunctioning.
Adequate Eddie.
Up.
Okay, all right.
I was going to say
Slightly
adequate Eddie.
malfunctioning
Adequate Eddie.
Hey, Billy exploded. We have medication.
Performing to specifications, Eddie.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
As is Eddie. Do we want to run down the Ploticus?
Fry gets caught up in a bank robbery and sent to a robot insane asylum where he goes insane and is convinced that he's a robot upon release. Bender managed to escape the asylum that he's sent to with Fry, and then he gets caught up in another bank robbery and then a hostage situation from which Fry saves everybody. I went for the really condensed.
Yeah, that's good. We are
Yeah.
going to unpack this like
yes.
nobody's business.
Yeah, yes.
This is one of my favorite Futurama episodes so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good episode.
It's
Again, it has something really specific to parody, and it uses that parody really well. So obviously, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is the main
Thrust, yeah.
the main thing it's hooking on. But there are other films built around the going to an insane asylum and the main character being toured around by one of the other inmates as like a trope and stuff like
They don't believe I'm a human either. Unit 2013.
Or even like the idea like when pretty much a sane person ends up in an insane asylum.
Yeah.
They will end up becoming crazy.
Yeah,
Just like
exactly.
if you medicate someone enough,
Yeah,
they're going
and
to
tell
lose
them that they're
perspective.
crazy.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the experiment is called, but it was an experiment done a little while back where what they did was they got a few volunteers, and what they
I
would
know
do
what you're
is
talking
they
about.
would pretend to have hallucinations, and that is how they would get what's the word?
committed.
Thank you. They get committed to an asylum. The second they're in, they act normal, and they see what happens from there. Basically, was the idea. That's essentially what's happening.
There's a
Did they all
book-
go crazy?
Yeah, well, even building on that, there's a book called, I think it's A Diary of a Psychopath or A Guide to Psychopaths. And it's done by the guy who wrote the book Men Who Stare at Goats. He genuinely went around and interviewed people, and he interviewed a guy who got, he was like minor assault, would have gone to prison for like a few years, and he's just like, he claimed insanity. He's like, I just thought I'd claim insanity, it'd be easier that way. And now they won't let me out, and I just keep trying to show them I'm normal. And the guy talks to the doctor, and it's like, well, yeah, it's like this. And he's like, yeah, we know that he faked insanity to get in here. And it's like, why aren't you letting him out? And it's like, he's clearly a psychopath. If you assault a woman and then go very calmly, very collectively go, I'll just go into sane asylum, everything will be fine. You are clearly mentally broken. And like,
Or stupid.
Yeah. Or even
But I don't think you deserve to be in a mental
he was
institution.
he was super calculating about it though. So it
Right,
was like
okay.
that.
Yeah.
It's the exact same. And I was thinking when I was looking at Bender. Bender's just like, whoa, I can fake insanity. It's like, oh yeah,
Bender is a psychopath. Yeah.
He's a psychopath. He's a sociopath. He's got a lot of things going for him.
Yeah, I
Or
mean, I
not
don't know
going
if you
for him.
can you apply those things to a robot? I mean,
AI.
Have you seen Measure of a Man? You can.
you can indeed. Yes.
Data is a human.
Also, this character,
Not quite.
this episode has one of my favorite characters, undersung, tiny, briefly there. It's like, this is lunch working Eddie. He thought that he was a lunch worker, so we put him to work in the lunchroom. How is working in the lunchroom, Eddie? Yeah, it's all right. Poor Eddie.
Like kind of like a Mike Tyson impersonation is what I, for some reason, is like, it's okay.
Yeah.
That's not Mike Tyson, by the way. That's
No, Mike Tyson.
I'm going to go with the fact that he's just a worker there.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just a guy doing his job.
It's so good.
so when I watched this last night for the first time, I just had this grin on my face the entire time because every joke has a purpose. If it's not laugh out loud hilarious, it's clever. Yeah. Every scene ties on from the last. Every joke has a payoff. All the characters, there's some coming back, there's some being introduced, and it's all just, it has a payoff.
Yeah, I think there's a really neat piece of writing where it's not overly shown, but Fry puts the oil in his pocket.
Yeah, that's a nice
and
touch.
it just feels kind of natural that I'll just keep this for later.
Yeah.
And then that has a payoff.
I don't
it's
think
just
if you-
nice. It's satisfying.
That's a
If
really
you saw
well
the
animated
episode-
scene as well. Like
Yeah.
just like when you see the knife coming out and you see the can and the shirt lifts up and then goes back down. Like that's
Yeah.
really nicely animated.
Yeah.
And if you
it's
didn't
nice.
know the episode, I don't think you would have been like, he put it in the jacket.
Yeah, it's not like
you wouldn't be
it's
watching it.
not
It's
a
gonna
zoom
come back
in.
It's like
It's-
a wide, man.
Yeah.
Like you're not driving any attention to it.
I think you just assume in the next scene it just wouldn't be there. Like it's
Yeah.
not drawn attention to, which is such simple restraint.
So just to counter to that, I think there's a little bit of nothingy. Oh, I guess it does pay off, actually, having to think of it. That I thought that the scene where he's getting drunk on the couch and collapses was a bit of a unnecessary. Like, didn't really go anywhere. But the whole point is that he is unconscious during the hostage taking, and then he pops up later. So it does have a purpose.
And it's kind of nice to see drunk Fry still sticks to his morals of believing he's a robot. It's just with a slight bit more arrogance. I'm a mighty robot.
Robot. Fry is the bender of this. Like, bringing of the eyebrows down, like when he's glaring at people as well. It's just like, and just like him sitting on the couch just throwing the beer. It's like, oh, he's the bender of this episode.
Oh,
and Bender's the Napoleon.
Oh, it's so much Napoleon. And I wrote down here, it's like Bender plus Banjo is great. It's just, it's never not funny.
Everybody always thinks that in these movies, everyone always has the delusion that they're a historical figure.
Yeah.
Like they're always a Napoleon or a Lincoln.
Two Lincolns for every Napoleon.
I was born in 200
log cabins.
Look, let me guess, he thinks he's Lincoln. He's programmed to think that. It's just he's got multiple personalities. All of them Lincoln.
Whoever did Unit 3012, 2013, I love him.
Yeah.
It's just so
he's nice.
underplayed. It's just like, he's got a clear character.
Well, he's a human, obviously.
Yeah,
It's like,
he's great.
He's doing what humans do.
Poor, what's his name?
I think it's Eddie. I do think it's Eddie.
Poor
Someone
Eddie.
correct me.
No, Frankie.
Frankie. That's it. Yeah.
Poor Frankie.
I apologize for saying Eddie before.
Eddie.
Edit that out.
Malfunctioning Eddie gives me my favorite
That's what I'm
line of the entire episode, which is
we've met
now,
before. What?
So now try not to startle him.
It's like, I hear that you're making progress. Yeah, well, I can.
Oh, Thunder Cougar Falcon Bird Man is back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's him, of course.
Thunder Cougar Falcon Bird.
He cares.
Yeah.
He really
It's like-
cares about
that's
malfunctioning.
really
No, he just needs his worker back. It's his drawing power. He's losing money.
Also, like,
How good a salesman is malfunctioning Eddie?
of all the characters to come back, it's like Malfunctioning Eddie comes back, and it's like, oh, that's awesome. Like, it's like, oh yeah, this exists in the world. And even like the previous episode where we said Kif knows the Wongs met Kif.
Yeah.
In this, it's like, we've met before. It's like,
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
Simple.
Of course he has. Yeah.
Also, we see the robot that gave Fry his wig back. Do you remember the creepy robot that wheeled in a few episodes back and is like the hair transplant robot?
Yeah.
He's the one that
Pretty
says,
girl.
I'm a pretty girl.
I'm a pretty girl.
Yeah. Also, a reappearance by the Hyper Chicken,
Oh, yeah.
the lawyer, who I think does sterling work in this
I'm just a
episode.
simple country hyper chicken.
But I know when we've been licked.
You're
Finger licked.
Finger licked.
Your Honor, I should be disbarred for introducing this evidence against my client.
I'm moved to have myself disbarred.
Yeah.
And his argument for insanity
He's like,
is,
well, they hired me
to defend them.
That judge character, I think, is the worst character in the episode, though. Judge Whitey.
Judge Whitey.
Judge
I
Whitey,
like him as a comment because
Yeah.
I love that it's just like,
overdo it a little bit in this
Yeah.
episode.
Like his opening line is a little too long, but after that, like he does have some good things. Like it's like, oh yeah, the human insane asylum is overpacked after you said that being poor is criminally insane. So just put him in the robot asylum.
The only pores I want to see are the masseuses at my
It's slightly overdone, that
Yes,
little
yes.
careless judge.
here's another theory that I've realized. Lunch Lady Doris works for the CIA. That voice sounded exactly like Lunch Lady Doris from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Or her head
Could have been a
does, at
little
least.
cameo.
Also, he's not insane. He is picking up transmissions from the CIA.
Yeah, he really is.
Oh man, there's also did you notice what the asylum is? The insane
The
asylum.
Howl Institute for the
Howl
Criminally
Institute.
Insane.
I was like, there's so many good little
And you know what? Adding on to that is the blue birds that are flying in a circle around it for dizziness. It's all just so...
Also, just like it was at the beginning of the episode, but I love watching Sean cringe when it's like Thompson's teeth, the only teeth strong enough to eat other teeth, and you hear the crunch, and I see Sean roll into a ball and be like, "No,
It's painful. Yeah, I guess in my synopsis I also gloss over the very first scene, which is Zoidberg's 10 years working at the Planet Express.
Yeah.
Where he gets some coupons.
Yes.
and a mandatory speech.
And he's loving every moment of it. Though. It's like,
he's
you
so
kept
happy.
track of it.
Yeah, he's so happy.
I love that Zoidberg scrounged up enough cash to buy another suit.
Yeah.
Because not the suit he usually wears.
it's a nice
so-
suit.
He found it in a dumpster.
Or one of the people that came to visit, and he may or may not have accidentally
Killed
their
them.
death. Yeah.
So many gushing fluids.
That wasn't this episode. I was thinking, I'm like, I wanted to say it, but I'm like, I'm not sure if it
What is it Zoidberg says when Fry comes home?
Fry, just because you think you're a robot doesn't mean you're a robot. Just because I think I'm a doctor doesn't make me a doctor.
It's
These
these fancy clothes.
Zoidberg has some good moments in this.
Yeah.
And
Hooray! I'm helping.
Yes. Oh yeah. That's one of the bit. And also, Amy doesn't have a line in this, but she has one of the better bits of just like it's like I've got to show Fry what it is to be a real woman, and Farnsworth just asks it's like asks Leela, it's like,
Do the laundry.
do the laundry,
Yeah.
and you see Amy just turn slap and then turn nice.
Once again, if you're going to have that kind of joke, repercussions straight away. Also, with the hooray, I'm helping, I think we almost missed. Did you hear the line directly after it? I've got hostages. Hooray, I'm helping. Do you have any better hostages?
That was a good little bit. There's a really simple joke in there about how attracted Fry still is to Leela, even with the robot thing on top. He's
smile.
like, beep. Beep, and then Leela grabs him, hugs him, and Fry's head is like in her boobs. Yeah, beep, 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 beep. Yay! There's attraction still there, even though he's a robot now.
Yeah.
Fry's coloration as well.
Yeah.
Or like just that really pale, which I was looking as like just basically my skin.
Paler.
Yeah, it's really interesting watching him go insane,
Yeah,
right?
when he's in
His hair gets more frazzled, he gets that little like wiry mustache.
Yeah, it's
and
okay,
stuff.
Fry. I spent some time too in an insane robot asylum, but luckily for me, it's
One of the best
Almost
lines in that. Oh, it's like really, really motivational. Then
Yeah.
you're like, no, it's not.
it's so good. He's so good.
So good.
Like just having to like basically share a tiny little space with Roberto, trying to he can't
Not get stabbed.
He can't sleep because he'll be stabbed.
Yeah.
So it's a dodge. He can't eat anything except the bars that fall out.
Shame on them for
That sick
letting
vending
Roberto
machine.
bring that knife in.
Yes.
Yeah, but they're all robots. What would a knife do to a robot though? Because like even like when he stabs at Fry, he realizes that Fry is a robot. So he's like, oh, my knife isn't going to do anything. And also, he just walks over to the doctor and just rips off his head and his like chest and just puts it on. It's like, excellent. There is no security here.
No, none at all.
Yeah.
And then the way he escapes is he just
keeps
walks through all walls, all of the walls.
I genuinely love the animation there is like you see the grass. Like if you're really looking for it, you see that the grass is underfoot. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's nice. That's nice that they just didn't do green. It's just like, it's just generic green. But it's like, you can see the grass. You can see like
you can
the
see him
knot of
go
the tree.
through. Yeah, you can see him go through all the corridors.
You're just
Yeah.
watching him,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all like the rocks are being like the walls are being broken. And
So
the
when were you
rocks
thinking of escaping? About a few seconds ago. Quickly, let's keep escaping.
You're saying is that, and all these jokes are being aided by the direction,
Yeah.
by the choice of shots and
Yes.
the pacing
Yeah.
and the use of close-ups and just nothing superfluous. It's
And,
just all.
and they build extra jokes inside those. So, like, there's a really satisfying thing with Bender's eyes are closed, and he opens the one eye by this slanting open of his visor, which is just really pleasant.
It's like, oh, you're cute.
Yeah,
I like the little like the when they're on the run, it's like they jump onto the boat, bang through the boat. Or like they get into the barn and they fly the plane around, do a complete like flip back into the barn.
And you just keep running.
Once again, remembering Bender is 500 pounds, so of course,
It's straight
Roberto's
through a
going to be a
robot.
lot more.
That boat was I still love that little just that simple act of them both jumping into it, because you can really look at that scene as it's not just them escaping, but they're kind of foiling any attempts to follow them. So it's like we broke the boat so no one can take the boat. We crashed the plane so that no one can fly after us.
Really don't think they were thinking that far.
They weren't, but I just like to think that that's the case. I like
So
to
the cops are going, they're geniuses.
Also, is this a new feature for Bender? This is the first time we've seen his like fiber wire neck.
Yeah, I think that's new. I was going to mention that his head just zooms up on a little wire,
And then it goes turtles
ducks.
back in. Yeah.
Also, we get a look inside Bender, and he's got cogs whirring around the inside.
and a
of him.
bird, yeah, singular
I
bird.
think it's a bat. It's a bat flying around inside him. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is really nice.
I do love Roberto's terrible disguise. It's just a shitty beard.
Yeah.
No one noticed. Like, he's not even threatening Bender. He's just threatening Fry.
Yeah.
The world's worst beard.
Yeah, even with Bender later on, it's like, hey, Roberto, remember that time I didn't snitch you?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Bender's not a snitch.
Yeah, Bender's no snitch.
He'll do his time. It's fine.
exactly.
He's happy with
Yeah,
it.
he's happy.
Also,
He's super happy.
great rule of three. We see it, we're referred to it, and then we see them back at the bank again. Bender kind of references it. It's like, third time. I like your style. It's like,
It's like the bank doesn't replenish its money.
no, it doesn't.
No, they've got like a few dollars left. That's all they
And a
have.
pen with
And a
most
pen.
of the balls on his end.
We just have the stupid cops back as well,
Yeah.
where they try and fire through the laser-proof glass.
The more
Safari
you've
lasers.
mentioned it, the more I'm running on this theory now. Smitty has not returned to the Force.
No, he didn't actually get his job back. He's just moonlighting.
I think that plan was his. So let's get glass that deflects lasers because he gave the order.
Yeah.
He's an idiot. He's an absolute idiot.
Would that mean that he was hanging around just like following the police? Because like when
they can ambush
like when Fry and Bender come out, you see all the police like ambush, and then Smitty and I forget the other guy, URL, that's it, and they jump on him. Does that mean just Smitty's just waiting, following the police?
Earl's helping when he shouldn't be, like against his better judgment. He's helping his friend out.
Hey, watch that off before you put it back.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. They have a really weird relationship. He calls him baby all the time.
Remember their good hug in Alcatraz?
Yeah, that's true.
Man, I guess this is why Chief said no hugging. That's why he got off the Force.
Inappropriate
hugged
hugging.
Too many people.
But yeah, they just have this really odd, possibly robosexual relationship.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Nothing.
There's an episode much later dedicated to that.
Yeah.
In this episode, Fry was the robosexual. He found Leader attractive, even though he could not understand that.
The fact that there are multiple entrances to incinerators around the Planet Express building is great. It's just like, and Fry's immediate response is always, and he did great throws.
Good aim, yeah.
That should be his primary function.
Yeah, exactly. Like a throwbot.
The weird thing about Fry pretending or thinking he's a robot, right, is he's completely devoid of personality. Whereas all the robots in Futurama have really defined
and then he starts
personality.
Robots don't say ye.
I'll show ye.
He's not even good at being a robot.
Yeah. Fry's never good at anything
at all.
That's just like that is his wonderful character trait. And even he's like, I've become a robot. Like the deep-seated psychological burden in his mind of just being a failure continues.
And he's got the best fighting. Then
another good Simpsons reference. I'm just like, I'm going to swing my arms like this,
which was actually kick my legs like this. And if you get in my way,
and that was based off of David X. Cohen, how he used to fight with his sister.
Oh, really? Me and my brother used to do that too because of the Simpsons.
Yes.
Really?
Who
was the kicker and who was the puncher?
I think we actually both did this.
Oh,
so it got pretty
We
bad.
both did the punches.
When you both slam knuckles against
knuckle,
knuckle, it's like, oh, that's going to be a thing.
It's a better tactic. It just
David was like, we did the punches, and I had longer arms, so I always won.
Oh, nice. And Zoidberg, he has like one of the best closing lines as well. It's just like when Fry's like, I'm bleeding. It's like, that means I'm a squid? A human. Also good.
He bandaged the arm really well.
Yeah, he surprisingly,
He actually did his job.
Yeah, and
all he has to do is wrap a piece of cloth and snip it off. That's literally all he does.
Well, he could have cut the arm off.
He could have fucked it up.
Here's my final question for you. Did Bender kill a guy? Because keep in mind, he also had the arm of the Prime Minister of Norway.
Yeah.
Now he's got a human heart. Has he got that entire guy's body in him?
I mean, we would have seen it in the X-ray. Much like all the other things we would have seen.
The million things that are inside Bender, like the hot water system and everything else.
I don't think so, because it was a very clean heart. It looked very, like, pristine.
I'm going to go with that he robbed someone who was delivering a heart for a transplant. And he thought this would be worth some money, and he just kept it.
Or when Fry was in that
sentimental,
that back alley black market like organ section, I just think like Bender may have stolen a heart.
It's better than the original ending. They had a deleted scene, which was instead of Bender doing the heart gag, he says, "Oh, this makes me want to sing," and he puts on the Napoleon hat. He gets the banjo out and he sings a song about how Fry is his friend.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice. It was just odd.
Yeah.
And then at the end, like he finishes and then Zoidberg goes, "What a showman!" That's the ending.
I mean, just hearing that, I'm like, seeing it, I'd be like, that might be a good ending.
I just
I prefer the one we have.
The fade to black. Yeah, the fade to black. Also,
everyone's reacting.
And proving Bender is a psychopath because he doesn't understand social cues of a heart.
Like not proffering body parts at people.
What this episode is showing me is that you can come at the episode from any point and there's just characters that you love and lines that you have. It's such a quotable episode for people that just want to listen to the lines. And there's also little visual gags and Easter eggs all over. It's just such an all-encompassing, smart, intelligent, funny episode.
You know how I feel about Problem of Poplars. Yeah. That's genuinely how I feel about that one.
And it's one episode that brings things back, but not in a just like, oh, let's do this again.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, there was an episode recently.
Benless Love.
Benless Love was just like, oh, let's just bring back things.
Yeah.
And none of them really fit properly or served properly.
Yeah.
Whereas the cops are back in because you need the police to capture them, and that's why they're there. Malfunctioning Eddie's there because he's insane. Like everyone's there for a reason, and they're brought back because they serve the plot, not because it's like, hey, here's some things that you like.
Yeah.
It's kind of ironic. Roberto getting introduced in an episode where they bring back a bunch of characters so wonderfully. When Roberto is brought back later on in like subsequent episodes, it's not as good as
Not
the
as
first
good
time.
as his first debut.
Roberto like comes and he's so amazing, and then spoilers for like Bender's game, he's in it, and it's just like the worst Roberto that you'll see. It's just like, why?
It was like when Clamps came back. And it
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
you've done Clamps.
remember the clamps? Clamp.
It's kind of
like
a
a
bad
one note.
sign when
Yeah.
Joey Masspad overshadows you in that episode.
Yeah.
He's still my favorite. He looks so happy all the time.
It's just really underplayed, Joey Masspad.
Yeah.
I think that really appeals to me. Just
Yeah.
things that are underplayed. Like
Clamps
that.
is great for that initial shock value of his holy shit. Clamps is hilariously insane. It's like, that's Clamps.
Yeah,
I mean, they
Roberto-
could have brought him into this one, but
Yeah.
thankfully not.
Thankfully not.
They pretty much seem to use every other robot on their palette. Like,
Yeah,
it's like-
I mean, I guess the mafia would protect him from going down, so it's pretty good.
They need the criminally insane on the streets in the mafia as opposed to in the sheets.
Do you like Perceptron or whatever it's called, the Doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like it because it's Fry says, look at me, of course I'm human. I complain about things. Yes, you do. Have some more. Yeah.
I age. Look, and he just smiles
Smile,
and
looks.
just holds.
Look at me aging.
Also, we found out Bender's retirement plan. He's just going to turn his on switch to off.
Yeah.
Like self-euthanizing
Yeah.
himself,
Isn't it
basically.
Isn't he like 6 years old?
Yeah, exactly. He's a precocious little scam, ain't he?
He's going to live till 8.
guy.
Yeah, but it's not even like a euthanasia kind of thing because it means he can turn himself back on. It basically just means he can power down for a while and then he's like, I want to live now. And just like,
Someone else will have to turn it back
Yeah,
on.
Yeah, it's hard to turn himself back on.
if Bender will have a feature somewhere in there, it'll be like what are the like the machines where it's like a ball drops and like it knocks like a lamp over and then
A Rube Goldberg
yeah.
machine.
I'm pretty certain that he'd have a Rube Goldberg machine of just like something that goes off and there's like turns it back on. He's like, hey.
And there's a whole new Planet Express crew because they're all dead. No, don't do that.
Also, Nixon cameo. was here.
On a note.
Talking money is in
Yeah.
the future now.
Yeah.
Shoot him in the back where he's not looking.
How does that work? Clearly Nixon's personality.
Think
like
of
that
it
is
like Harry Potter cards.
I was thinking like the Harry Potter paintings. Like it's a part of a personality
Yeah.
that's created.
yes,
to
essence
mirror
of
the person.
personality in the
It's
money.
like, where'd they go? Well, we can't stick around forever.
That'd be so creepy to have like Nixon. Imagine him in the Oval Office with all this money around him, having conversations with himself.
No, that would be he'd be the happiest he's ever been.
I know, but it'd be creepy to watch.
It'd only be Nixon.
How you doing, boys? We're good, yeah.
I feel like because he's talking, there's also microphones in every $100.
Well, I think Jefferson,
$1,000.
Every $1,000.
Jefferson has like his own personality and desires because he's like, get some athlete's foot for my face. Foot cream. So he obviously is suffering in Fry's soul.
Oh, poor. But he's still upbeat. Like he's still upbeat even though he's in there. He's like,
Happy to give some lovely Jefferson advice.
a penny saved is a penny earned.
Where did Bender get his hat?
His Napoleon hat.
His Napoleon
Stole
hat.
it.
Stole it?
Stole it from a delusional
I-
robot.
Well, there's probably a robot that was programmed to be Napoleon somewhere in there. and
Yeah,
he's just
it's
taken
probably
that.
true. I'll give you
Or they
that.
just have like a supply of Napoleon hats for all the
I think
robots who
it's-
think they're Napoleon.
I think it's actually Napoleon's hat.
If you have like an insane asylum where there's just
Props for your
props for
delusions.
delusions, like you're asking for people to become them. Like,
Role play therapy. The only way that we can
Yeah.
cure them is to have them
Indulge
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
It's like they'll believe they're that person, but that person isn't insane. You're like, yeah, I mean, I guess that works.
Bender. I want to see
To
like
break
just
through
like
treatment.
the justification for like Bender thinking like, okay, I can combine Napoleon and the South. Je suis Napoleon, y'all. Bonjour, y'all. It's like, lovely.
He's having such a good time in there.
He would have been there forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have gotten out.
No, he was so happy.
And no-
And
Nobody
also,
cared.
why did they not put him back in after they found him?
yeah,
He hasn't finished his sentence.
no, he just escapes, and that's the end of the episode, right? The robbery is foiled.
Yeah, they'd
That's
be
it.
like, awesome, we got Roberto. Where's the one he went with? There he is. Let's take him back.
Roberto has a problem with his mother. Like, is
Yes.
like, is he
Spill
has
the
a problem-
transmission fluid?
Yeah.
"Don't weld me to the wall, mommy."
It's like, okay. And then it raises a bigger question of like,
Robot
okay,
families.
Yeah. So it's like, does this mean that Roberto was born very similar to Bender in the most inefficient production line ever, and then accidentally knocked it over and
Why on the production line?
yeah, and then was like welded to the wall, taken off the wall, and then uploaded with like all the
Maybe
noise?
he's
Either
talking
that or Mummy is mum.
That's what I was going to say. It's like maybe he was like a personal robot to her, and she drove him completely bonkers.
And welded him to the wall. Because of course she would.
She would do.
Could that mean that he's been built as basically Mum's like hit bot? So it's like the idea that she just sends one of these random insane robots out to just kill someone.
Mom
for her.
stabbed that person. It's like,
And also, he robs banks, which keeps the economy just a little bit under Mum.
Jesus,
a bit of anarchy. Keeps Mum on top.
I like that backstory for Roberto.
Yeah.
That he was like Mum's personal robot,
Let's
and
do that.
she totally wrecked him.
Yeah.
That's great.
He also seems like nice enough. He's always very nice.
Define nice.
Well, he's always like, it's like, hey, it's good to see you.
Yeah, he's very polite and friendly. He is friendly.
Yeah, up until the point that he's just like,
He's
nice
friendly until he's not.
I'm just going to practice my stabbing.
hey, nice to meet you. Hostages!
Should we, well, since we're already there, let's get onto that voice.
We just
Gotta be Roberto.
Hey, Red! How you going? And the other patty will be made out of your other lung.
Hey, why are you moving around so much? I'm trying to practice my stabbing.
Everyone do his stabbing noise.
Poor Fry in this entire episode. Honestly.
He suffers so
God,
much.
Fry should have died like 100 times in that episode.
Even just like the change places, like he would have had
the
so many
change places.
broken bones.
I was going to say, just imagine getting hit by a 500-pound metal robot.
Oh, just the whole processing montage where he has to go through it, gets his clothes sucked off, and
Drill should have killed him.
drill goes in his mouth and gets whacked by a magnet, and it's just horrific. He
Everything about
gets
that.
shot by gamma rays.
Yeah, gets electrocuted
Many
multiple
times.
Which feels good for robots, not so good for humans.
He gets medication discs crammed into him.
Yeah.
Not in the face.
Here's the thing though, if you liked these characters, they do come back eventually. The entire Insane Asylum comes back in Bender's game.
Cool.
And then we find out more robot relaxation therapy, which is by far, if Fry went through the relaxation therapy in this, he would have died about 8 times over.
All right.
Ender's Game is secretly is it Ender's Game? That was that
Ender's
movie
Game,
a few years ago?
Yeah.
Well, it's a book. It's an
Yeah.
amazing book.
By
average
Orson
movie.
Scott Card.
Orson Scott Card. Yeah.
Wasn't he a little bit racist? And
Am I
Yes.
homophobic?
Yeah, he was a little bit everything.
Yes.
Is he alive still?
I think so. He was out. He was
sure.
alive when
Not sure.
the movie came out.
Because if he is, he's still very much that way.
Racist.
Look, the books don't have a lot of that kind of ideas in them. Ender's Game particularly is just a really fantastic, tight sci-fi story, and I'm all for do make yourself aware of what your authors believe in and take that into consideration, but don't let it stop you enjoying.
It's
these
like
little books.
actors. Like I will still enjoy, for all accounts,
Allegedly.
people like Colin Farrell and Edward Norton are notoriously hard to work with and are considered dicks. Still involved in some of my favourite films, and I'm still going to watch them and enjoy them.
sure.
They use their dicketry for good, like in Birdman.
Yeah. It's like, are you playing yourself, Edward Norton? How aware are you of what you're doing right now?
Edward Norton would like you to know that he can get an erection at any time. Just any time.
All right, let's put this down to a vote. Because I'm not sure, and I have been waiting until this moment to figure out where I stand.
Okay. I love this episode. It's really funny. As you say, everything ties together neatly, but it doesn't make me feel in the same way that Luck of the Friarish does. That has like an emotional resonance for me that makes it hard to top. This is probably my second favourite episode of the season so far, just slightly behind Luck of the Friarish.
Futurama episodes, I look at them from 3 different angles. Is that you've got, you want a good sci-fi element to it, a good kind of sci-fi futuristic story. You want the comedy, and you'd like the emotional resonancy. So this one doesn't quite have the emotional resonancy, but it really does tick those other 2 boxes really
very
hard
well.
and
Yeah,
really
yeah.
fast.
I mean, there's a little bit of quite a lot of sympathy for Fry as he goes nuts, but it's not quite the same.
Fry is such a sympathetic character in this situation, and I love every character. I think you've got memorable guest characters, you've got great returns, jokes that have immediate payoff and overarching payoffs, every little visual jokes and Easter eggs. It's probably the most fun I have had in a Futurama episode so far. So I will put my vote for Insane in the Mainframe.
Okay, Luck of the Friarish, it does hit me harder emotionally, but my God, this episode was good.
My God, it was good.
This episode was good. I think, maybe I just haven't seen Luck of the Friarish in a few weeks, and I haven't, because it's been a while, but maybe I'll have to go this episode. Maybe.
Is that maybe a yes?
Is that maybe a yes? Because we're only taking maybes.
It's
No if, buts, or maybes.
It's,
Or cocoa nuts.
It's I probably am wrong, but I will go with this episode.
Insane in the
I
Mainframe.
don't know, it was a
Josh.
great all
Oh,
round.
yeah.
All comes down to me.
Well, you can make it into a tie.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell do we do then? We'll
I
find
know,
out.
Because usually we have three, so...
Phil, I'm sorry.
Oh, right,
But-
okay.
Oh,
What was the previous episode? The one where Leela gets two eyes. The one before Bug.
that was Cyberhouse Rules.
Cyberhouse Rules. And I was saying it there. I was like, this episode, I feel like I like this episode a little bit more than like this. And this one is so much better than the Cyberhouse Rules.
Yeah.
It just ticks the boxes of just like, there's the comedy, it's the story. Genuinely, everything about it is very good. So I'm going to go with the Insane in the Mainframe.
Friarish has been toppled.
Yeah.
Like, the Fry story isn't as emotional, but
Yeah.
his journey through the insane asylum, being like, basically, I'm stuck here.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I find that really interesting. And then like he's like, basically, okay, I guess I am a robot.
It's an interesting take on the maybe sane person in an insane asylum, which is a common trope, as we discussed, but it's handled in a really interesting way. And this is like, he's not only is he trapped in an insane asylum, he's trapped in the insane asylum for the wrong kind of thing that he is.
What was the episode that has Zoidberg going off to try and procure a mate? What was that?
Crustacean in love.
Why must
Yeah.
there be a crustacean?
We talked about I'm pretty sure we talked about this in Crustacean in Love. Is that when I use those three categories, if it's not as prominent in one of the categories, say the emotional resonancy, it needs to really up its ante in the other two.
Yeah.
That's what I think this episode does here.
I think it is certainly is a funnier episode than Luck of the Friarish. There were moments in this that had us really roaring with laughter, and like we almost missed some of the lines, as you were saying, because we were just
Like Friarish doesn't have as many of the laughs.
no,
But
Friarish is like better structured and a better emotional payoff.
but
But
animated in some ways.
it's better made.
Yeah.
But it's not as funny as this one, and I think this one doesn't.
We
have-
are watching a comedy show.
Yeah,
yes.
and this one does have like very good, like in fact, Insane in the Mainframe. I keep wanting to say membrane. It's very good visuals throughout the entire thing, like just the efficiencies and the inefficiencies, and just like simple little animations that just like tiny things that they really focused on and gave a lot of weight to. I was like, this is really nice. Like
good robot designs as well.
yeah,
in this episode.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And also getting to see like that robots suffer insanity as well. So it's like all of them we find out it's like their purpose. They've gone too far in their purpose. The Wigbot is like become so focused on like its own
Vanity.
head. Yeah. The malfunctioning Eddie is become too malfunctioning. Lincoln is too Lincoln.
too explosive.
I mean, the vending machine just coughs up candy.
so it's just sick.
Although he's not accepting the dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. True.
It's one function.
Yeah, even just like that little visual of Fry like grabbing like the food that comes out of the vending machine. I was like, this is great.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Just the idea of a robot being insane, so to speak, is just not doing its primary function. For all intents and purposes, from our perspective, that vending machine could be fine cognitively, but it's not accepting that money, therefore it's not doing its primary function.
See what happens to Bender when he doesn't get his bending fix, right?
No,
Yeah,
right?
true.
He goes.
We get a mediocre
Ben
episode.
yeah, that's true.
They don't send them to like get repaired, or they don't send them to just be crushed. It's they have to be treated.
Because robots have
Treated,
rights now in this.
Yeah.
in this
That's
world
kind
as
of
well.
nice.
Yeah, it does.
It's lovely.
I like that robots are analogous to humans. Like they have drug addictions and love lives and can go insane. And
Yeah.
it's
And they
really
have like empathy, where it's like, poor Frankie.
Yeah.
And they have existential quandaries.
I don't think any other take on robots does that. Like unless it's trying to be really intellectual. with, like,
Data.
like-
Data is probably the closest I think.
do you know, but it's more
It's
of like,
very,
let's be philosophical
Yes.
and
Yeah.
look at it
Which
that
is Star
way.
Trek. Yeah.
Yeah. No one has it as a kind of lighthearted. It's like robots are people, but they're robots.
What a crazy one.
And just as a quick honorable mention, we got Good News Everyone again. Good News Everyone is back. That's opens the episode.
Oh, does it really?
Good News
Zoidberg's
Everyone.
They don't overuse it.
No. So
That got picked up by the mic. I'm certain.
okay.
I tried to. It didn't work.
I think that's the episode over then.
If you guys want to get in contact with us and keep the conversation flowing, you can email us at babybeardmedia@gmail.com.
Talk to us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram.
And YouTube, subscribe or not, check it out. Like, dislike, all the options. They're yours.
If you liked it, tell your friend, tell your parents, chuck us a 5-star review, and otherwise we'll see you in the Robot Insane Asylum with us.
And next week... Hey, Daz, you know what we've got next week?
What's next week, Sean?
Oh, we've got the root of all evil.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh God.
I don't know. I haven't looked. I didn't. I tried to avoid a photo or anything.
Rings a bell.
That's how I went into this episode as well, because I'm like, I remember that there's an insane asylum. I don't remember how they got in there, though. And then I was like, oh, yeah, Roberto!
I assume the root of all evil is something to do with Bender.
Yeah, and because it's going to be root as in square root.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something to do with the robot religion.
Devil?
Robot religion, robot devil, probably.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look it up, actually.
No, I'm talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.
Bye.
Well, until then, I have been Sean.
I've been Phil.
I've been James.
I've been Josh. I'm looking at what next week's episode is.
I waved for some reason.
Just
Bye,
say
guys.
Bye. Sound of waving.
After the previous episode, I think Lobstertainment should get another. I think I should get a couple of points up on that one.
No.
Bugalow.
Not giving it.
Yeah, it's better than Bugalow. It's better than the Bugalow.
It is better than Bugalow.
It was certainly better than the episode.
I mean, it's also better than World War One, but I'm not going to allow it.
It sounds like they have joy in their hearts, and we are soulless husks.
We
that
are.
derive pain.
I've got the joy down in my heart.
Where?
Down in my heart.
What is it?
And if the devil's gonna
Doesn't like it,
you can sit on attack. Ow! Sit on attack. Ow!
That's the one of the rules of improv. You support them, and if they say something wrong, you support them even more because it makes them look stupid.
Okay,
What
let me
up,
just read you what this
girl?
says. Hey Siri, send a message whether girl... Basically, when I said hey Siri, it said everything I said after that.
Brilliant.
And almost sent it to someone.
Oh, brilliant.
Stop recording me!